Yo, what's good? So, I just want to talk about finding purpose from the perspective of someone who's unemployed, probably a loser, and I was recently depressed. Not clinically, but like I was in a pretty bad state. So, about me, for context, I am 21, a recent graduate. Specifically, I'm in the finance field, and I'm job hunting. And there are two things that are depressing about job hunting. Firstly, you just don't have a job, right? It's nice to just have income. Um, I spend money and I see that my money's running low. I used to have a sort of a weekend job to keep me afloat, but that has kind of been put on hiatus. So I'm just like kind of living off my savings. And, I just want to have money. But the second more depressing thing about job hunting is that you just feel like you're not worth it. Um, I've seen some people on social media, they've been rejected from thousands of jobs. I feel like that's got to be the worst feeling in the world. Like I've only been rejected from like under 100, and it's kind of disheartening to not get a good response from like any of them, right? Or maybe the ones that you do get a good response from, they're not really the ones that you're looking for. But that those are okay, right? Boost your ego a little bit. But I think what I want to say to anyone that kind of relates to this or might be in that situation is that every good thing takes time. So for me, um, when I was in college, right, or just throughout high school, throughout my entire life, I never set myself up for success, right? I was always, you know, I want to say a very like typical Asian kid. Like I'm focused on getting hundreds. I'm going to after school, and all I'm doing is just passing school, right? I never did any extracurriculars. I never like networked. I never did things that I think actually matter nowadays, right? And I feel like the problem is that, now that I'm job hunting and I'm kind of beating myself up about it, right? I'm frustrated at myself for not having worked harder. It's kind of pointless to punish yourself for your past mistakes, right? So it's not even I'm at a new stage in my life, but every day that you wake up, you're a new person, right? Even if you mess up yesterday, there's no point in beating yourself up about it. And a lot of the times it's counterproductive to do that because then you just waste time thinking about it and you just become depressed and you don't do anything when you're depressed. Just speaking from personal experience. So, there's a lot of practical reasons not to do it, but even in theory, you can't punish yourself for your past mistakes. You just can't live like that, right? And a lot of the times when I was depressed and looking for a job, I was kind of trying my best, but I felt like it wasn't enough, right? And when I say my best, right, I'm sure there's someone out there that could have been like, yeah, you only submitted 50 job applications today. You could have submitted 100. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But I spent half the time just laying in bed, finding some like will to get up, and spent half the time rotting in my shower thinking about why I do this to myself. And I tried my best. I even got out of bed and it was so hard to do, and I submitted the applications, right? And I'm trying to get myself out of that hole. I need to put the effort into that too. And yeah, like my point is that was my best, but I was still telling myself you could have done better, right? Just because I was so like, why do I say that to myself? Like, oh, you could have done better, you could have done better, you could have done better. It's because I'm desperate, right? I want to get a job, right? I want to reach certain goals in my life. And I think that's another important thing, having goals, right? Well, of course, it's important to have goals, but I want to speak more on that and how it relates to the job hunt. But yeah, I was impatient. I was desperate. So I'm punishing myself for not kind of taking extra steps to get there faster. But that kind of mindset, it's not objective, right? You're always going to be saying you could have done better, right? Because this voice that I had in my head is just like the voice of eternal punishment and doom, right? No matter what I did, I would have always said you could do better, right? And part of that is because I know I have so much potential, um, and I know what I'm capable of. So I'm always gonna think I could do better. But sometimes you just gotta take a step back and be like, all right, you did a good job. Chill, right? I never allowed myself to chill. And I think that's important, right? A lot of people, especially when they're grinding on something or they have like a goal and they really want to get there, they stop taking care of themselves, right? They forget to, right? They kind of lose themselves in the process because they're so impatient. They want to grind, they want to do more and more, and they ignore how they feel, right? They ignore, like, maybe if someone's grinding for a physical goal, they might ignore some red flags that their body's telling them, or just any goal in life. They're working hard and they feel like shit, but they don't care because they're like, oh, I need to get there. I need to get there. So they just stop taking care of themselves. And then somewhere along the line, you just end up not at your goal and you're severely depressed. Right? You feel like shit. And you don't even remember why you're doing this in the first place. So I think, for anyone at that part of their life or at that stage, you just gotta take a step back and take care of yourself, and also think, I spoke earlier about goals. Like, when you think about your goal, like, do you have to, like, what is that goal really for, right? If you want to make, like, let's say $1 million, why do you want to make $1 million, right? And more times than not, I mean, almost every time, it's not just like, oh, I just really like the feeling of having $1 million. It's like you want to, like, maybe do something for yourself, right? You want to improve yourself, or you want to, like, help other people, whatever it is. You need to remember that as well, right? A lot of people, they have a goal because they want to take care of themselves and do something better for themselves, right? Whether it's a physical goal, a career goal, they want to better their life. Okay, you have to not just chase the end point, but chase the process of the goal, right? Do it because it's right and because you love yourself, right? Like, for example, I think other than job hunting, this also ties in with my physical fitness, right? So I want to reach like 10% body fat, right? And maybe right now I'm like 18, 20. And it's been hard, right? Like, to cut. And I've been kind of stagnant recently. And then I was kind of just like struggling with my diet and punishing myself. And I had like, I would also punish myself even more and have more negative self-talk, which spiraled into binge eating and stress, which I like to stress. I have a habit of stress eating a lot. And this just wasn't doing anything for me. But I just had a good day today, at the gym. I exercised a little bit. And I just felt great because I didn't even think about hitting, like, I want to hit 135 pounds. I didn't even think about hitting 135. I just exercised because I like to, right? I played a sport that I love. And I just went to the gym because I like lifting weights. And I felt so fulfilled, right? Because like, every other day, I would be like, yeah, you got to eat rice cakes because you have this goal. Like, it was never like, oh, you need to just eat a little cleaner because you want to take care of yourself and because you love yourself. So yeah, I think we get the point, right? Same thing for like a job. I'm not chasing like 100K salary just because I want 100K salary. It's because I want to be able to take care of myself, afford the things I want to afford, and just make life easy for me and for the people I love, right? And punishing myself and being, you know, getting depressed in the process, that's not part of the goal, okay? So, a lot of people, they just get so lost in the process and the grind that they don't realize that it's getting convoluted. So, I think I started off this video as finding purpose, right? Um, and it's up to you how you think about it. But I feel like I don't even have a purpose right now. And that's where I feel like the lightest um, recently. I feel the most liberated, I think is a better way to say it. Like I'm kind of just doing it because like I love myself, right? I want to better myself, and I'm not like chasing a crazy goal. I don't really have like a purpose. I don't have any goals. I'm just doing it because it's right, you know? And I think that's important, right? And also when you have like that holistic view of, yeah, you have to take care of yourself. I think a lot of people when they're on the grind, they don't give themselves days off, right? And I'm not talking about like, oh, I want to have a cheat day, right? And like I'm allowing myself to be lazy. I'm allowing these bad habits and they're being delusional. Sometimes you are just going through something and you just need to have a day off, right? Or that day off is just productive, right? And like for me, right? I would always think like I need to be on my diet 24/7. Um and it's not just for like losing weight. It's like, oh, if I have a cheat day, I'm a bitch. It says something about me and my mentality. But, you know, there's also studies out there that say like, you could do refeeds, maybe 2 days out the week. And it's okay to have cheat days, right? Like, and you need to have like a long-term sustainable plan. And sometimes those cheat days, those days off, where you just take care of yourself, that's necessary. Um, so yeah, I started rambling a lot at the end, but I hope this video maybe like finds someone if they ever need it, and even if like it finds one person, I think that's the point. Yeah, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Have a good night.